You don't attract narcissists randomly. There is an invisible blueprint within you, quietly guiding your choices in relationships. What once helped you survive in the past, staying silent, enduring, trying to please, becomes the very thing that makes you easy to manipulate as an adult. This video will help you see that mechanism clearly. Not to blame, but to understand why you keep falling into the same type of person. Why the sacrifice you thought was good is actually a sign of lacking boundaries. And more importantly, you'll learn how to create psychological friction. Small changes, but powerful enough to make you no longer an easy target. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to stop losing yourself. You don't need to go through too many relationships to notice one repeating truth. The beginning always feels intense, but the ending always looks the same. It's not random, and it's not because you're unlucky. There's an invisible pattern running underneath, quietly shaping who you're drawn to and how you choose to stay. Here's the uncomfortable truth. What you call the feeling of finding the right person is sometimes just the feeling of familiarity. Your brain doesn't clearly distinguish between what's healthy and what's familiar. It simply recognizes, this feels like something I've experienced before, and so you believe it's a connection. Your early experiences don't disappear. They don't just sit in your memory. They turn into reflexes. The way you had to stay quiet, endure, try harder just to be accepted, all of it becomes the foundation for how you love as an adult. You're not attracted to a narcissist because they're special. You're drawn to them because they activate what feels familiar. Instability, unpredictability, the need to try. To you, these things feel so familiar that they seem normal. Many people confuse intense emotions with real connection. When a relationship makes you anxious, overthinking, waiting, analyzing every message, you think it's because you care, but in reality, it's your nervous system being stimulated, not your heart being at peace. Chaos is often mistaken for chemistry. When things are unclear, hot and cold, you feel more pulled in, not because it's good, but because you're used to having to work for something uncertain. Distance is often mistaken for desire. When someone is cold or inconsistent, you feel the urge to get closer. You think you're in love. But what you're really doing is trying to complete an old loop, trying to earn the attention you once lacked. You don't wake up one day and decide, today I'm going to choose a narcissist. It doesn't happen consciously. You're simply reacting to patterns that were programmed into you long ago. Your nervous system has its own memory. It remembers abandonment. It remembers tension. It remembers having to read people just to survive. And when you meet someone who brings back those feelings, it says, this feels familiar. This feels like home, even when it's not. A healthy relationship often starts quietly, nothing too dramatic, no intense highs. And because of that, many people feel bored. Not because it lacks value, but because it doesn't trigger what they're used to feeling. You may have overlooked people who treated you well, just because they didn't create an instant spark. Meanwhile, you feel pulled toward those who keep you thinking all the time. This isn't love. This is a reflex. A clear sign of this pattern is the constant feeling that you have to do something to keep the relationship. Try harder. Understand more. Tolerate more. You don't feel naturally chosen. You feel like you have to prove your worth. When you look back, you'll realize it's not that the people are the same. It's that the feelings are anxiety, hope, disappointment, and then trying again. This cycle isn't created entirely by the other person. You're also helping to maintain it. No one taught you how to recognize your boundaries from the beginning, so you learned to adapt instead of protect yourself. And as you grew up, you kept adapting, even when it made you exhausted. You're not wrong. You're just repeating what once helped you survive. Recognizing this pattern isn't about blaming the past. It helps you see that your choices aren't as natural as they feel. And when you begin to truly see it, you finally have a chance to pause. Instead of repeating it unconsciously, you once believed that as long as you were good enough, understanding enough, and willing to sacrifice enough, everything would work out. But reality doesn't work that way. Always putting others first doesn't make a relationship stronger. It only makes you easier to take for granted. Many people grow up believing that love must come with endurance. No arguing back. No being a burden. No asking for too much. Over time, they get used to staying silent when they're uncomfortable. And they call it maturity, when in truth, they're abandoning themselves. Giving is not wrong, but when you give without limits, it's no longer kindness. It becomes a signal that you're willing to lose yourself just to keep someone else. And those who know how to take advantage won't miss that chance. Someone who constantly tries to please others often doesn't realize they're fading themselves out. They adjust their words, their emotions, their behavior, just to fit the other person. Over time, they no longer know what they truly want. You may be used to being the understanding one in every situation, the one who doesn't cause trouble, doesn't create pressure. But that's exactly why others don't feel the need to care about your emotions, because they know you'll handle it on your own. Not everyone values sacrifice. Some people simply take it for granted. When you're always the one stepping back, they get used to stepping over you. Not because they're bad, but because you never set boundaries from the beginning. Many people confuse love with endurance. They believe that the more they can handle, the deeper the relationship becomes. But in reality, a healthy relationship doesn't require you to trade away your peace. You don't become a target for a narcissist because you're weak. In fact, you're often someone who can tahmil a lot, someone who cares deeply, someone who is willing to sacrifice. But when those qualities have no boundaries, they become easy to exploit. Constantly trying to fix someone else is also a form of self-sacrifice. You see their problems. You want to help. You believe you can change them. But in that process, you forget. No one is your responsibility to save. A clear sign is that you often feel tired, but don't dare to say it. You feel something is wrong, but you keep going. You know you're giving too much, but you convince yourself, maybe I just haven't tried hard enough. True kindness doesn't drain you. It doesn't require you to constantly hold yourself together just to keep the peace. If you always have to adjust yourself to avoid conflict, that's no longer kindness. That's avoidance. Boundaries are not selfish. They are how you define who you are and what you accept. When you don't have boundaries, others will cross them intentionally or not, and you'll be the one dealing with the consequences. Not everyone was taught how to say no. Many people grow up in environments where refusing is seen as wrong, so they learn to agree even when they don't want to. And this pattern follows them into adulthood. You may notice that you often feel guilty when you put your own needs first. But the truth is, if you don't do it, no one else is responsible to do it for you. And you'll keep getting pulled into unbalanced relationships. When you start setting boundaries, some people won't like it. They're used to the version of you that is easy, agreeable, and accommodating. But that's exactly how you know this change is necessary. Not to fight them, but so you no longer lose yourself. Recognizing the problem is only the first step. The harder part is changing how you respond in familiar situations. You don't need to change who you are completely. You only need to change a few small behaviors, but do them consistently, long enough to create real change. The idea of psychological friction may sound complicated, but it's actually very practical. It means you no longer react as quickly as before. You no longer rush to meet every expectation. You create a small pause between emotion and action, and that pause changes everything. You don't need to explain everything just to be understood. In the past, you may have been used to over-explaining to avoid misunderstandings. But now you realize, those who want to understand will understand. Those who don't, no amount of explanation will ever be enough. Silence no longer makes you anxious like it used to. You don't rush to fill the space with words or actions. You accept that not everything needs an immediate response, and not every silence carries a negative meaning. Discomfort is no longer something you must fix right away. Before, whenever there was conflict or distance, you would try to repair it, soften it, bring everything back to normal. But now you let it be. You observe it. Instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to say no without attaching a long explanation. No need to justify. No need to over-apologize. A clear, simple answer is enough. Enough for others to understand your boundaries. And you no longer feel guilty for it. People who were used to controlling you will feel uncomfortable. They no longer get the same reactions. No more explanations. No more people-pleasing. And this change slowly makes them lose interest. You don't need to cut off every relationship immediately. Instead, you change how you show up in that relationship. When you are no longer predictable, no longer easy to control, their motivation begins to change too. One important thing is that you don't turn into someone cold or distant. You still keep your kindness, but you no longer sacrifice yourself to maintain it. You choose when to give and when to stop. You also begin to realize that not every relationship needs to be saved. Some only exist because you've been trying too hard. When you stop, they fade on their own. And that's not a loss. That's clarity. Returning to yourself is not a sudden moment. It's a slow process. You gradually rediscover what you like, what you don't like, what you accept, and what you no longer tolerate. You are no longer consumed by analyzing other people's behavior. Before, you might spend hours wondering what they think, why they act the way they do. Now, you bring that attention back to yourself. A clear shift is that you no longer react based on temporary emotions. You don't rush to text. You don't rush to explain. You don't rush to fix things. You give yourself time, and that helps you act with awareness. Breaking the cycle is not about winning against someone. There is no battle here. You are simply stepping out of an old pattern, one you once believed was normal. In the end, the biggest change is not in others. It's in how you treat yourself. You no longer ignore your feelings just to keep someone. you no longer betray yourself to maintain a relationship. And that is the true end of the cycle. You don't need to change who you are completely to escape the relationships that drain you. You only need to see one thing clearly. What you once called love was sometimes just a familiar habit of enduring. This cycle doesn't disappear on its own. It only stops when you begin to act differently, no longer over-trying, no longer explaining just to be accepted, no longer staying silent just to keep the peace. These small changes may feel unfamiliar at first, but that's the sign you're stepping out of your old version. Some people won't like that change. Some relationships will naturally fall away, but in return, you no longer have to trade your peace just to keep someone. In the end, what you truly need is not to find the right person. It's to become someone who no longer accepts what isn't right for you. And when that happens, what doesn't belong will leave on its own. And for the first time, you stop repeating the cycle.